BBC Breakfast viewers were left less than impressed with presenter Sally Nugent during a recent interview. On Monday's show, the host spoke to the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Darren Jones, ahead of Rachel Reeves' new £500 million fund aimed at helping up to 200,000 vulnerable children. Sally took the opportunity to ask the MP a range of questions, including some on wealth tax, which the MP did not want to answer. One moment, the BBC presenter asked, "Will higher earners be taxed more to plug the black hole in the government's finances at the moment?" He replied, "I'm not sure I agree with the definition of a black hole in the public finances, just to be clear. But, to answer your question on tax, I'm afraid, in the way that you probably expect me to answer, I'm not going to speculate on tax policy." The MP told the BBC host that the government has a structured way of announcing tax changes, which happens at a budget with the Chancellor at the dispatch box in the House of Commons. However, Nugent was keen to get a response from the MP, as she replied, "OK, I don't want you to speculate, but I would like to know, what do you think of the idea of a wealth tax?" Laughing, Jones told the BBC Star that the question was still speculation on tax policy. He replied, "As I've just set out, I'm afraid, I'm not going to do it." She then questioned if the government was going to continue with the freeze on tax thresholds. As he said, "That's also tax speculation, and as I say, any changes one way or another will be announced by the Chancellor at the budget." Realizing the questions weren't going to plan, she quipped, "What can you tell us?" It wasn't long before people took to social media to comment on the interview, with many unimpressed with Sally's interview technique. One person on X said, "This interview is going well. Not." Another reeled, "Darren Jones, having none of silly Sally's nonsense." Someone else commented, "This is a morning edition of #Pointless presented by Sally Nugent, who's expecting Darren Jones to set out the autumn budget on the 14th July. Why do we have to pay a license for this rubbish?" With another adding, that interview was pretty irrelevant and a waste of time. Sally Nugent, not exactly pinning him to the door with laser-like questions. One viewer shared, "Sally's interview with the Chief Secretary Treasury is a failure, asks him to speculate on future policy. I cannot speculate on tax policy, rephrases question, pretending it isn't speculative, laughing, I cannot speculate, ask better questions."